Okie dokie, so we're gonna hop right into it with this video. So up to this point, you should have watched part 1 and part 2 of launching your business. Launching your business part 1 was about going over expectations and setting your why and setting goals. Part 2 is about making your list and the no words to use during, or no words not to use, I guess, during recruiting, and the first invite approach, along with some responses for some common questions. So what we're going to go into now are the other handful of approaches, and again, the reason why we have so many to choose from, actually it's not that many, just a handful, is because we want to effectively approach each person on your list based on your relationship with them, the last time you talked with them, and things like that. And so the opinion approach is going to be the first one, and the opinion approach sounds like this. So again, you can text or call. Sometimes you can initiate it with text and then call. So again, like, hey, do you have a minute? If they say yes, then you can call them. I like to hybridize instead of just calling someone out of the blue. That's just me personally. And then again, I want to get it onto the phone as fast as possible and off of text, because that way they hear the sincerity, the urgency, and excitement in your voice. And so this one is just like, basically when you get on the phone, hey, could you do me a huge favor? And they say, yeah, what's going on? And you can just say, listen, I'm running out the door right now, but what are you doing tomorrow around 7:30? So again, that time constraint, you're in a hurry, so they don't ask you a ton of questions, and they also feel better because they're wondering, okay, how long is this going to take? But you say, I only have 2 minutes right now. So they're like, okay, this is only going to take 2 minutes. But what are you doing tomorrow at 7:30? So again, you have 2 predetermined, preset PBR times with your upline, and then you just say, and they're like, what is it? And you say, I'm starting my own business, and you could say home-based business if you want to. That's an option there. Okay, I'm starting my own home-based business, and I already got connected with some very influential people or some very successful people who want to help me launch it. And but I want to get some feedback from someone that I trust and respect, and I know that you've had so much success in your traditional business, or I know you've been so successful in real estate, or I know you've been you're just very business savvy, and I admire you a lot, and I really value your opinion. And so, plus, I'm looking for someone to partner with and possibly cash in on this, or possibly capitalize on this. So, if I share the plan with you, would you be open to taking a look at it? Okay. Remember, and just like that, the last one, we always want to end on a question, because the person who asks the questions controls the conversation. I see a lot of new people, they're just like, yep, so this is what I'm working on, and I wait for someone to say something. Give them a question to answer to, because if you ever feel out of control of the conversation, you should take a look at who's asking questions. So remember, you always want to end with a question, and I always say open. I never say interested, because how can they know if they're interested in something they know nothing about? I always just say, if I shared it with you, or if I get you connected, or if I sent you some info, whatever the if-I exchange is, would you be open to taking a look? Open. A lot more people just feel open, and they're very receptive to that, okay? So if I shared the plan with you, would you be open to taking a look at it? And the key here is that it's important that they understand that you're looking for someone to possibly partner with. It may or may not be them, but they might know somebody who could potentially contribute or be an asset to the team, and you could let them know that. But they need to know that there's an opportunity for them to cash in on something, because if you're just asking for their opinion and, like, I don't know, it's just better if they know that there's something in it for them, okay? Now, the next one is the indirect approach, and here's how this one sounds. Okay, this is on the next page, page 21. And so this one, of course, you can say, hey, you know, I'm calling about business, but first, how did your family catch up a little bit? And then just say, okay, well, I'm running out the door. Again, you're going to get in a really good habit of being in a hurry, okay? But the reason I want to reach out to you is because I recently got connected with some really successful people, and again, you're going to see a general trend, okay? So you're talking about third party all the time so that you're not the issue. I got connected with some extremely successful people who are expanding a business project here in Denver, or here in whatever city your prospect is in. And you say, and they asked if I knew anyone entrepreneurial, open-minded, and has leadership skills that I'd be willing to refer. And I know that you are already completely satisfied with what you're currently doing and are already very successful, but who do you know who's open to making extra money on the side and likes helping people and being the first to know about something? And usually they'll be like, well, what is it? Like, I would be open. Okay, and so then if they say that, oh, really great. Well, what does your schedule look like tomorrow at PBR, date, time, location? Okay, well, not location, obviously, PBR, date, and time. And then if they're free, then you say, okay, well, we're sitting down at my place, or we're sitting down at Panera to go over all the details. Do you know where that is? Okay, great, I can send you the address. So again, you just set the appointment. If they're like, well, what is it? Because some people, they want to know more about it before they refer someone to you, and that's totally natural. Then you just say, okay, you can say the same thing. Well, we're going over the details at this time and place. Or you could say, if I sent you some info, would you be open to taking a look at it? And then again, go through those 3 questions. Okay, great. When is as soon as you could take a look? So if I follow up, then you already have checked it out. Okay, perfect. You prefer text, email, or Facebook. And by asking those 3 questions, your chances go from 5% to 85% that they actually take a look. And you're just being professional by asking those questions. And if I went over that fast, watch the previous video. I talk about those 3 questions, and it's on the invite roadmap under can you send me some info, okay? But just get in the habit, never send any information until you preset the time, until you actually know exactly when they're going to watch it. Don't send it, because then maybe they weren't even serious about asking or looking at the information in the first place. Okay, so the next one, the next couple, there's only 3 more. One is how to talk to someone who's already in another network marketing company. And so here there's 2 ways to go about it. You could just hit them up, texting or calling, I guess, depending on your relationship with them. You can just say, hey, you know, are you still doing, and then their company name. Hey, are you still doing Plexus? Hey, are you still doing Herbalife? Are you still doing Amway? Whatever it is. And then they may say yes or no. If they say yes, then you could just say, you know, how's that going? Are you happy with it? And they can tell you how it's going. And then you can say, well, you know, I'm starting my own home-based business, and I know that you've had success and have more experience than I do, and I was hoping that you could take a look at the business and give me your honest feedback. Let me know if you think I'm making the right move. Even though, of course, you know that you're making the best move, but it's kind of like the opinion approach hybridized with the acknowledgement that they're already in network marketing. And you can say, if I shared it with you, would you be open to taking a look at it? Okay? If they're already super happy with it, then you can say, well, I'm starting my own home-based business, and I would love to swap overviews to learn more and see how we could support each other's businesses. Would you be able to grab me coffee later today or tomorrow? I've done that before, and I've become customers of other networkers, and they've become my customer in Kyani. And so that way, instead of bashing and tearing down each other's companies or saying why yours is better, if they're already happy, because I'm telling you, complacent people are the hardest to recruit. So if they're doing their thing, just see how you can support them. They appreciate it, because everyone in network marketing, they're out for the same thing. They're out for financial freedom, so respect that. And sometimes if they see our comp plan, which is why I say swap overviews, no, you should not be going into this appointment just purely as their prospect. Okay, it needs to be fair. And if they're not willing to take look at yours, then I wouldn't spend too much time there. Okay, but once the product goes to work for them, they may actually become a loyal customer, which is still a gain, and they may refer people to you because their company may be in a totally different industry, even though we're both network marketing. So that's one approach for. That's actually 2 approaches for someone in network marketing. The last one on this page is how to talk to someone you haven't talked to in a while. And there's 2 ways to go about this one as well. So here, if you know someone, like one of your WIPs that we're talking about in making your list, oh my goodness, I think we may have missed that. So in case we did, WIPs stands for this: work ethic, hunger, influence, and passion. And so write that down if you haven't already on making your list. Your VIP top 20 need to be sharp people, because when you're recruiting people who are better than you, that's when this business gets fun. So you want people who have work ethic. They're very hardworking. People who are hungry, like they have a desire for more. Again, complacent people are they're the hardest to recruit because they don't have a desire for more. So you want people who are hungry. And then you also want people with influence. Star that one, influence. Because when all they have to do is pick up the phone, people are in, that is when you have someone influential. And that's when, again, this business is a blast. And you want someone who's passionate. People who are passionate, who can convey excitement and energy about whatever it is they're doing. They're a great asset to have on your team, okay? So for WIPs, maybe you can think of one of your WIPs, but you actually haven't talked to them in a while. But if you have a specific reason as to why you think that they'd be good for the business, you can just be very direct, okay? So let's say you text them, call them, and you say, hey, how are you, blah, 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 have you been? You talk a little bit, but then you just say, hey, like, and you're very direct and upfront. People appreciate transparency. So you say, look, I know we haven't talked in a while, but the reason I'm reaching out is because, well, a few partners of mine, we're launching a new business project, and we're looking for people to partner with, and I remember that you were incredibly successful in real estate, or I just remember that you were very, very involved in that organization, and, you know, whatever your genuine compliment or reason for thinking of them is, and say, you know, maybe a total shot in the dark, but I do think you could be a great asset to the team. If we shared the plan with you, would you be open to taking a look at it? And either yes or no, because if you kind of beat around the bush for a long time and then just like spend time making small talk and then spring the business on them, sometimes they may think, is this the only reason why you've been talking to me is because you wanted to, you know, share the business with me? Just be upfront and direct. And Matt Morris, he actually has a video on YouTube called How to Reach Out to Old Contacts, and he talks about being direct. Another way is, if you haven't talked to them in a long time and you actually cannot remember like a specific reason as to why they would be good for the business, form them. And we're going to talk about that at the end of this video, but forming is on page 26. It's called How to Become a Master Recruiter. And basically, actually, we'll just go into it right now. Forming stands for family, occupation, recreation, and message. So this is what it looks like: family, occupation, recreation, and message. And here are a list of a bunch of questions that I personally ask, whether it's at the beginning of a presentation, I'm getting to know someone's prospects, or if I am doing this, talking to someone I haven't talked to in a while, getting to know, see where their life is. And forming is just great because you're not asking aimless questions like, so, how about the weather, right? You're not just bantering like meaninglessly. You are actually asking directed questions, and you have to be genuinely interested. People can tell when you're like interrogating them, looking for something. So genuinely be interested in their signs, which strengths, interests, goals, and needs. And you know that you've become a good former when you can find their signs, and you can establish like instant rapport. Because remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Okay, that's why John C. Maxwell says you have to touch the heart before you ask for the hand. And that's what forming does. So if it's someone you haven't talked to in a while, just build that relationship again and form them. And so the last approach I'm going to talk about is the direct approach. And there are 5 simple steps. Technically 3, 4 and 5 is if they say yes or no. So step 1 is the time constraint. So say you're in a rush, okay? And again, as you already know, so they don't slam you with questions and they feel better knowing that it's going to be a quick call. Step 1 is saying, hey, I'm in a rush right now, but, and then you insert, step 2 says insert invite from the examples below. And these are all the examples of things. There's actually a front and back of things that you can say. So hey, I'm running out the door right now, but I found something really exciting, and you're one of the first people I thought of. When I thought of quality people that I really enjoy working with, I thought of you. And then step 3 is end every invite with an if I, would you. So if I sent you some info, would you check it out? Or if I shared it with you, would you be open to taking a look? Or you could say, do you keep your career options open? Okay? And so that's really the general formula. Be in a hurry. Insert one of these invites. I just found a way to make an extra $1,000 to $2,000 part-time from an app on my phone. If I shared it with you, would you be open to taking a look? You see that? Or again, hey, I'm running out the door, but when you told me you were looking for a new job, were you serious about that, or were you just kidding around? Just like, no, I'm serious. Okay, great. Well, I think I found a way that I can make that happen. If I shared it with you, would you be open to taking a look? Okay, seriously, I'm just like inserting this in step 2. Step 3, I end with an if I, would you. Now, step 4 and 5. Step 4 is if they say yes. Step 4 is, Step 4 is if they say yes. Step 5 is if they say no. Saying yes, then you just set the appointment. If they say, yeah, I'd be open, you say, great. My business partner and I were actually sitting down at PBR date time location to go over all the details. I'll send you the address. Can you be there 5 to 10 minutes early? Or if you're doing a Zoom call or a video conference call, which we do a lot in my team, then you say, great, well, my business partner and I are going to video conference at PBR date time location to go over the details. If I sent you the link, can you dial in 5 to 10 minutes early? And please make sure that they download the app called Zoom before we send them the link, because I don't want all this time to be wasted on technical difficulties and people end up waiting. Step 5 is if they say no, then you just go back to the roadmap, and then you just go to the no, not interested box, which looks like that. Okay? Alrighty, so that is the last approach. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is when they say, whether you're using the roadmap, the opinion, or the direct approach, or whatever, and they say, is this network marketing? Is this network marketing? Some people say, no, or if they say, is this multi-level marketing? They say no, because they freak out. And again, what did we say at the beginning of this video? I can't remember if it was this video or the last one. I think it was the last one. But never compromise your integrity. Never compromise your integrity, because that will ruin your credibility like no other. So if it is, you say, yeah, it is. Great, are you familiar? Or are you part of a company currently? And then they say either, yeah, I'm already part of a company, and maybe you didn't even know that they were in network marketing. You will actually be really surprised. A lot of people, they see value in this industry, but they just have to be part of the right organization with the right leadership and a good product. So anyway, if they say, is this network marketing? You say, oh, great, you're familiar. Are you part of a company currently? Or are you part of a company already? And sometimes they can share their story. They're like, oh, you know, I was, but it didn't really work out, blah, 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 blah. So if they are part of a company, say, that's awesome. How's it going for you? And if they're happy, then again, say, maybe we could, get together, stop overview, see how we could support each other. That's awesome you're doing network marketing. Great. Not, well, I'm sure yours sucks. Try out mine, because ours is the best. We're taking off. And it sounds so unprofessional, but people actually do that. That's why I'm mentioning it now. Don't bash other people's companies. If they're hostile or have psychic damage, is this network marketing? And you can hear that they've had trauma. And you say, what happened? Did you have a bad experience? Let them talk it out, and then that way you actually know what you're combating. If they're like, yeah, we just had to sell way too many products, and I hated pushing all this product on my friends and family. And no one was helping me. I felt like I was on my own. All my friends like turned against me, and it was just really a bad experience. And you just say, hey, look, I'm sorry to hear. I know a lot of people that haven't to, but this is nothing like that. You know, and then you can, once you're kind of more familiar with Kayani, then you can kind of at least say, hey, like, we don't have any quotas here. People share their product because they want to, not because they have to. And we have the #1 support system in the world. I haven't had to do a thing by myself because the mentors are so awesome here. You know, and then you could also ask, and I love this, you say, well, you know, did you give it 100%? Because chances are they didn't. They just kind of like toe dipped and didn't work out. So if they didn't give it 100%, say, okay, well, do you think that was more on you, or do you think it was the company, right? Or do you think it was like maybe that specific company, or do you think it was the whole industry of network marketing that's bad, you know? And they're like, okay, well, it's probably just that company, or maybe it was just me. I didn't try my hardest, okay? Um, but you could say, you know, if nothing else, you just say, but this is nothing like that. But since you at least have more experience than I do, would you, you know, take a look, give me your honest assessment? So again, it's kind of a hybrid of the opinion approach, okay? If they say, is this a pyramid? An automatic response should always be, what do you mean by that? Because again, some people, they get so defensive, and that's one of the worst things you could do. They're like, no, no, your job's a pyramid, right? And also when you start attacking them, they're like, why is this person freaking out? Because sometimes pyramid is just their word for network marketing. And they just say it's, you know, it's where you have, you know, people selling a product and you get a small percentage off the team. And you could just say, yeah, this is a pyramid if that's what you want to call it. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I just carry on with the presentation. Like, I've totally been in that situation before. Um, or if they say, you know, where the people at the top make all the money, and then you can just say, well, you know, where are you working right now? Does your CEO make more money than you? You know, no, this is definitely not like that. Okay? Or if they say, you know, where you just get paid to recruit a bunch of people, then you can say, no, we actually have a product that is helping people tremendously with their health. But you can choose to recruit if you want to help save more lives faster, right, and have leverage. But it's also important that you understand. So say that they're like, oh, is this like a Ponzi scheme? And again, there's only so many variations they can ask. Okay, and you can just say, no, Ponzi scheme is illegal, and you get paid purely to recruit. There's no exchange of money for product or money for service. And they're just moving money around. We are a direct sales company, like Mary Kay, who has done billions in revenue. So those are the invite approaches, and that's how you handle those couple rebuttals. And if you're just very, very confident with those handful of responses that people can possibly like come at you with, then you're going to feel super, super confident in inviting. And when you're confident in inviting, your whole team is confident in inviting, and that is how you have explosive growth, is getting the business in front of a ton of people in a short period of time, and that starts with inviting. So I hope this training helped, and I will see you in the next video.